Hang on one second. Paul just said that he can't hear you. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Are you really doing this again? I can hear you, John. I can hear you. This is on my end. I need to fix this so that it picks up my desktop audio. Computer audio, maybe. John has been talking, guys. John has been talking. This is on me. Let me. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Of course, this would fucking happen right now. Is this muted? Let me unmute that. Let me unmute that briefly. Yeah, it's not even picking up on my own voice, so this is definitely on my end. This probably has to do with the Windows update that happened earlier. Let me see if I can solve it. Device, speakers / headphones done. Now let me see if that made a difference. Speakers, and of course it didn't. This is fucking awesome. Let me click on the little gear here. Properties? That's, oh, isn't that? There we go. I think we're good now. I think I fixed it.
Should I go through again
how
I felt about the SmackDown?
We're good. It's picking you up.
Okay, awesome. Should I go over how I felt about the SmackDown again before handing it to you?
Yes. Go over the whole bit because nobody heard it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I was just saying, from my end, it had kind of an energy that you would expect from the early seasons of Game of Thrones when it was still very gripping television and cutting edge, because we had, certain intrigue, Edge trying to manipulate Jey Uso, Nia maybe manipulating Reginald, we don't know, Reginald getting in the head of Sasha Banks, so we had a lot of mental games going on there. We had people trying to, make power moves, Big E came back, he was ready to throw down, defend his Intercontinental title, and then, at the end of it, Apollo struck, made him taste steel. We had the stakes elevated for Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. There's going to be a special enforcer, which will be determined next week, because Jey Uso tried to muscle in on that spot, but then Edge, being an opportunist, was like, actually, no, let's wrestle for that, and I'll be Jey Uso's opponent. So I like the twists and turns and the maneuvers of these characters on this episode. And I even said it the first time I said this, we even had a potential beheading because Rollins wanted to curb stomp Cesaro's head in with a chair wrapped around it. Thankfully, he was thwarted. But yeah, I really saw a lot of characters, have these motivations, go about them in ways that were intriguing to me, at the very least understandable to me, even if I didn't always like the segments in and of themselves. And yeah, I actually had a very good feeling about tonight's SmackDown, and it's SmackDowns like this that actually got me a bit more hyped for Fastlane. I only have two nitpicks, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I just want to get your thoughts on this SmackDown real quick.
So here's the thing for me. The storyline progression on this week's SmackDown, which I think kind of plays into the whole Game of Thrones comparison that you made, I thought was great. I loved the storyline progression. I loved a lot of the promos on this show, although there was one that I didn't like. And I feel like from a story standpoint and a promo perspective, this was a really strong show. I didn't really give a shit about any of the matches tonight. Just going to lay that out there right now. The matches, I felt like were very filler. Let's just get through this so that we can fill time on TV and get to the next story thing. But the actual story and the promos, which to me are the more appealing part, unless the match is this amazing, 4.5 star classic type match. Promos and the story stuff is really what I tune in for in the first place. So I dug this episode of SmackDown, but there were a few things that absolutely annoyed me, and we will talk about that in this first segment. So let's get into it.
All right, heat of the night. Which nitpick do I want to talk about first? Because neither's really a big deal. It's just something I would have liked. Yeah, okay, I'll start with this one. So I should say this is probably my favorite part of the show tonight. I fucking loved Big E's promo tonight.
I knew you were going to say that, and so did I.
Dude, it was so good. I'm not going to say that I remember it verbatim, but you step on my lawn, I bulldoze your house. Holy fuck, that energy. And where my nitpick comes in, and see, it's a conflicted one. I feel like he should have beaten Sami Zayn a lot quicker than what he did. Because you come out with that fire, right? I'm gonna murder this dude. He even said, almost like he was ready to break down, either mentally or emotionally. I've got to end you now, referring to Apollo. and him and Sammy have actually a pretty back and forth match. Now, what was cool was when Big E wanted to end it, he ended it, right? Like lariat, big ending, whatever. And then, Apollo, which I didn't mind Apollo getting the leg up on Big E. I did not mind that at all. That's, that's good heel work. That's building a story. I just thought Big E maybe should have been a bit more dominant here for my liking. But again, that's why I classified it as a nitpick, because I do love Sami Zayn, and it's not something that's going to have me raging and breaking my keyboard. So what about you? Do you have any heats of the night or nitpicks?
No, I was even going to say, I feel like if he would have just squashed Sammy, that might have even been a nitpick for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, it was really good. My biggest problem with this show, though, is everything revolving around Reginald, honestly. Reginald, to me, has become the Alexa Bliss of SmackDown. With Alexa Bliss, whenever she shows up on Raw, I mute my TV, I stop paying attention, she ruins the show. Reginald has become that on SmackDown for me. Everything he touches is just trash. Now he's fucking shopping for clothing with Nia Jax. Apparently he and Nia Jax are an item now. We saw last week she walked by and said, oh, he kind of cute. And now they've just fully gone into like, yes, this is a thing now. Fucking Sasha is paying way too much attention to Reginald. Everything involving Reginald right now to me is garbage.
Yeah, that's understandable, man. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly, because I certainly don't love it. I don't think I have the same visceral reaction. I think where I feel bad is that the person behind Reginald, the character, I do think has an upside. I don't know if this is just bad stuff that they've been given right now, that they're trying to do the best they can. And we've already kind of lamented, Nia's talent over the years or lack thereof. I've already told you I feel bad for people like Shayna Baszler. Like, her being on her phone was a whole mood because she really felt like, oh my God, I'm so above this.
Yeah.
At least it's what I'm projecting onto her. Sasha as a character, like
I don't even know if it was I'm so above this so much as it's just I've got so many more important things to worry about.
Exactly, which again seems very resonant with the viewer watching this, and yes, true. Sasha, obviously we want her as a heel. I don't necessarily know if I want it this way or how I'll feel about it. I just think it's a case of there are people I like here, people that I want to like here, and that's why I would classify Reginald, and people that I just don't like here, where Nia definitely fits in that. And like the way it's all coming together, it just leaves me with like throwing my hands up, and I'm like, so I don't know. This is one storyline where I said to myself, I can't wait to get beyond WrestleMania, because there's going to be some kind of resolution here, I think, by then. And what that resolution is, I have no freaking idea. But yeah, I really had no idea what to even make of this tonight. Because, and I'll tell you why, I don't know if Nia's genuinely caught feelings for Reginald, or if this is part of, in her mind, a long con, or if Reginald's working her, because he did like kind of, prod her like, oh, maybe you should challenge for the Women's Championship next week. And like, that's interesting, right? So like, who's working who here? And yeah, so I really don't know how to feel about this right now, but I understand why you're thinking like, oh my God, this is garbage.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I just feel like they're turning this women's program into something that it never should have been. And getting Nia fucking Jax involved is a great way to ruin something too. So that's another thing.
For sure. You have anything else you want to say before I give my second and final nitpick?
Oh, yeah, actually I do. You mentioned, Reginald like teasing or, kind of trying to push Nia towards challenging Sasha for the SmackDown Women's title. Why the fuck would you do that? If you're Vince McMahon, why the fuck would you put your SmackDown Women's Champion's health at risk in a match against Nia Jax? Why the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, nothing but facts, brother. I can't dispute that.
But how many times have we said, oh, I don't want her to work with Nia because Nia injures people? And then Nia injures the person, and we're like, God damn it, we knew this was going to happen, and there was nothing we could do to stop it, and it happened anyway. I feel like that's happened at least 3 times already.
Yeah, exactly. And, God, I just hope they can make it through the match okay. I hate that it's happening, too, for that reason. Plus, obviously, like, I would have found Shayna getting the shot more interesting. So even from a match perspective... Well, and even fucking
Shayna. Shayna just concussed Asuka and knocked teeth out.
Yeah, that's fair. Ugh, I don't know. It's rough, man. I guess for my second nitpick, and again, I can't stress enough that it is a nitpick, and my bias is definitely showing here, kind of an underwhelming way to reintroduce Kevin Owens to TV after he's been off for so many weeks because of Jey Uso. I mean, I get why they still can't have him with like Roman and Jay because that's kind of the Edge Bryan story right now. But just to put him immediately back as a like talk show host, I would have honestly preferred just a singles match against somebody. I don't even know who. We could probably think of a heel. Maybe if it was Murphy and you gave Cesaro a different opponent. I don't freaking know. I just feel like to slot him back in, with the whole KO show thing, after he's had the kind of story he's had the last couple months, is just really underwhelming to me. Again, I'm not even asking for him to be associated with Roman and Jay, but like,
the one like bit of slack that I will cut WWE is that he was really funny tonight. Like it was a genuinely he was arguably the most entertaining thing about that whole segment. Him and Bianca really were the only two, and maybe Shayna just for her complete no-selling of everything that was going on and being just annoyed and frustrated, basically being the in-universe avatar of the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kevin is very good at what he does, and I understand why he has that spot. And I was still kind of hoping that we would do Jey Uso versus Kevin at WrestleMania. But see, though, this actually goes back to a point that you're always making. Social media isn't television. One of the last things Kevin tweeted before he dropped off was, "Oh, see you soon, Jay," and it was a gif of him. Him being Kevin, headbutting the chamber pod when Jay was kind of like eyeing him there. And, I thought, oh, wow, Kevin's going to divert attention from Roman at least temporarily, but he's still going to be in his orbit because he's going after Jay. And then when he resolves with Jay, then maybe post-Mania he can go back on Roman. But they want him to do this. And I think the bigger thing, too, it's looking like they're teasing that he may be doing something with Sami at Mania. I don't want to jump the gun, but they did have an interaction tonight backstage, and I know how you and I have been liking that they haven't been interacting. And I'm like, again, Kevin did this really great program where even had an emotional promo talking about his family and all that stuff. And you go from that to not even feuding for the Intercontinental title potentially, depending on where that goes, but just straight up maybe potentially feuding with Sami Zayn again. So, just as a Kevin Owens fan, it kind of sucks. But do you have any other heats tonight or nitpicks?
No, I think we can move on.
All right, then let us get right into our Friday night SmackDown review. And we start getting a recap of last week, the steel cage match, Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan. Once that's all done, though, as far as live content goes, we get an Edge promo. Ashton, what did you think about this, man?
It was really good. Edge's promo here was really strong. Pretty much called out Daniel Bryan for basically implying that he loved wrestling more than Edge. Kind of this, it almost feels similar to like what Batista was saying when he came back and he was supposed to be a face and he won the Royal Rumble and then he ended up turning heel with the whole like, I love this thing, I don't need to be here, I'm here because I want to be, that kind of thing. Like those lines feel very regurgitated, very similar, but I guess the difference here is that he's Edge, so it's a little more believable. But still, it was a solid promo. Edge is always great and passionate on the mic. And then Bryan did come out and basically just said like, wow, I didn't realize that you were so insecure about this. And he kind of went out of his way to point out to Edge that like, dude, I feel like this would be the first time in my career that you'd really respect me because I decided to take advantage of an opportunity and you're the ultimate opportunist. Like, what's the disconnect here? So it was a really cool interaction between two guys that we really haven't seen interact much.
Yeah, I found it interesting when Edge said to Bryan, like, oh, I wish you didn't go about it like this. You're better than this.
I know, right? He said, you're better than this, but you're not better than me. But, like, this is such a you thing. This is something you would have done.
Exactly. So, like, why are you lecturing him? It really came off as weird. And I know, like, Edge is the older competitor between the two because Bryan's, like, late 30s at this point. But it's like, dude, are you trying to sound like a wise sage? Like, what the fuck's going on? Maybe he's trying to make him feel bad, like manipulate him emotionally. I don't freaking know. But it just came across as weird, man. But I liked it though. But it was just like, what's he trying to do here?
The thing is that the promo itself was good, even if that particular part of it didn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's two people that are quality on the mic, doing what they do, and you'll love to see it, honestly.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Street Profits and the Mysterios versus Alpha Academy and Rudolph, and
yeah, this was kind of one of those matches, man, where it was just like, okay, this is filler or whatever, and I checked out. I barely paid attention to this. Like, I saw a few moments in this match where Ray, in particular, looked really fucking sloppy. Like, I feel like he botched at least twice in this match. If it was more than twice, I didn't see him, but I know I saw him botch 2 times in this match. And, like, I don't know. He just seemed off. It was weird. I'm not used to Rey Mysterio, of all people, not being able to hit Rey Mysterio moves. Like, that's his signature offense that he's fucking up out there. It was really odd.
Yeah, it was. I feel like he was trying to move at a really quick pace. Like, he seemed like he was moving fine.
Yeah, I will say, though, Foster's right. Montez hitting that rotating frog splash was sick.
Oh, his athleticism is ungoddamn deniable.
Yeah.
And, he pinned Robert Roode. So, again, we're furthering the story. Street Profits should begin their rematch, which, I've given WWE a lot of crap with how they determine contenders in the past. And, they said we're going to do away with rematch clauses and stuff like that. They're really making Street Profits work for it. It almost makes me wonder. And again, I can say this because we're still a little ways off from WrestleMania preview and predictions. Almost makes me wonder if they're going to have Street Profits ultimately regain the titles at Mania, and maybe Bianca wins the women's title at Mania, and then all 3 of them are champions. Because I feel like, didn't she debut for the main roster at last year's Mania? And they were.
Yeah, I think she debuted last year to help the Profits.
Yeah, so this year.
It might have been at the post-Mania Raw, but I think you're right that it was at the Mania itself.
It was at Mania, and then I think they did it again, pretty much like a very similar segment.
Yeah,
on the post-Mania Raw.
Which we probably complained about.
Yeah, so it would be interesting if 1 year later it all comes full circle and they're all champions. That could be an interesting idea to play with.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a thought, because they're clearly furthering this story. After that, we get Molly Holly's Hall of Fame announcement recap. From the bump. Good for her. Very happy for Molly. Really no complaints or anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem happy about it. Good shit. Then we get Paul Heyman and Jey Uso. This was an unnerving segment. Paul trying to be all nice, like, oh, what's going on, main event, Jey Uso? Oh, I'm good, Paul, I'm good. What are you doing? I was just going to holler at Uso a little bit. Oh, well, he's busy, You know how Fridays are.
Dude, this came off as so, fucking Bill Lumbergh, middle management bullshit. Oh, God, just, if you want us to hate you, you win. We hate you. Go away.
Yeah, totally. I almost, again, the word I used was unnerving, because it's everybody was worried that Jey Uso would get his ass beat tonight. And Paul Heyman, I think, was trying to prevent that, because I've seen his faces when he sees Roman abuse people. Yeah. And it's probably just almost as scarring for him as it is for the person being abused. So he's probably thinking oh God, no, let's not do that. Hey, Jay, that stuff I should take care of. Oh yeah, Paul, I'll go do that. So that was all right. But again, I like little seeds they're planting here, and we'll kind of get into that a bit later. We get Seth Rollins interviewed. Again, they bring up him getting, swung around by Cesaro and the uppercut and everything. And Seth more or less says, why are we still talking about this? I gave Cesaro, a chance to join me. He didn't want to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm done. Cesaro's finished. He's never going to reach his full potential without me. That swing that he did that you guys are just celebrating, who was a part of that? Me. Who brought that out of him? Me. So he'd be more or less says, hey, I'm washing my hands of Cesaro. And, then he gets told, well, maybe he'll have another chance to impress in the rematch tonight. And so it's a rematch, huh? And he just kind of walks off with that thought. So,
dude, is it just me, or is Seth giving off total Roman energy in this?
A little bit.
I don't literally mean the energy, the vibes, because Roman's way more intimidating, but just the whole, you see that offense that he got on me? He got that because I let him. That whole thing, that feels very Roman.
Exactly.
To me, which of course it does. And how long before they're teaming up together again?
Dude, it may happen.
WWE can't resist their fucking Shield reunions.
No, they can't. And as heels, I'd be curious how they'd write it, even if it's just tonight on Smackdown, Seth and Roman teaming up. Really? That's simple, huh? But regardless, we do get that little tease, so we see that Seth's going to be more involved with Cesaro. Then we get the Reginald going clothes shopping with Shayna and Nia segment. We already kind of touched on this in Heat of the Night, so we can just get over that.
Yeah.
Cesaro versus Murphy. I will say, Seth actually kind of worked me a little bit. He got some heat from me because this is a very physical matchup. The 2 points that stand out for me, there was a boot that Cesaro got at one point on Murphy. I was like, damn, that was impact. And then there was like a knee, like a jumping knee, like a V-trigger that Murphy got on the outside to Cesaro. And I'm like, wow, these guys, they're really going at it. And then Murphy tried going to the top rope, and Cesaro gets a nice drop kick.
Yep.
Like, these guys were showing out.
Yeah, man.
And then,
they're both workhorses. What do we gotta do? Like,
yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. Cesaro is swinging Murphy around. Seems like he's really, about to have a repeat of last week. Seth Rollins jumps Cesaro, and he curb stomps him once, and he's like, get up.
bro,
stand up.
Did you see Cesaro reach into his mouth and pull out his mouth guard in the air after getting his head bounced off the mat?
Yeah, oh no, I didn't see that. I must have missed that, dude.
Yeah, dude, Seth stomped him, and as his head bounces off the mat and he's in the air just floating there, he just reaches into his mouth and grabs his mouth guard and pulls it out. I was like, what the hell's going on right now? I really hope that wasn't like Cesaro getting something fucked up in his mouth or something, like biting his tongue or anything like that. Like, I was legitimately looking for blood afterwards, because if he would have like bit the inside of his mouth or bit his tongue on the stomp, he would have been bleeding inside the mouth, but I didn't see anything.
Yeah, he's had bad luck with his teeth and mouth before. Yeah. Let's leave the poor man alone in that area, please.
I know, right? Sethington!
Yeah. So then Sethington is just like, stand up, you'll never be on my level. Oh, is it hard with that ringing in your ears? And then he does a spin, kick to the gut, hits him with another stop, and Cesaro, again, is even more spaced out. He's fucked. I think he kind of sold that he had a ringing in his ears. His equilibrium is just freaking shot. And then Seth's like, oh, nobody laughs at me. Nobody makes a joke of me. And then he really wants to finish the job. He gets a steel chair. And like I said in the first segment, just kind of recapping the intro to our show, he gets the chair, wraps it around Cesaro's throat. He's looking for a beheading here. And Jamie Noble catches Seth Rollins. And he kind of pushes him back, like, no, Seth, don't do this.
Dude, that was so weird. Jamie, didn't you used to work for him?
That's exactly my thought. I'm like, well, J&J Security, where's the love, bruh?
Exactly.
So, Seth takes his leave feeling like he had proven his point, but, and I did get a little excited about this, he meets Nakamura backstage.
Yes.
And they have a stare down. It's so funny, dude. And again, I don't know if this is just inconsistent. That's what I'm looking for. Inconsistent writing from SmackDown, and obviously the inconsistency probably comes from Vince because he has to decide on everything, or what. But there was a time where I thought Cesaro was going to turn heel on Shinsuke because everybody made a big stink of hey, when Roman and company were jumping Nakamura, where were you, Cesaro? And they were even on opposite sides of a tag match one time. But now that Cesaro has also turned face, which, that might have been a bit unexpected for them, now Nakamura is standing up for his friend. We're not going to get a fracture between Nakamura and Cesaro. And honestly, while they would have killed it in the ring, I'm okay with that. I still am very excited for the potential Cesaro versus Rollins matchup at Mania. I mean, obviously, it looks like we're going to be doing one at Fastlane. But Nakamura versus Seth in the lead-up, that sounds like a great fucking match to me. So
WWE really just over the last few months, I feel like WWE has really been on their bullshit as far as just not wanting to decide whether someone's a heel or a face or not.
Yeah, dude, it's really confusing because you're kind of emotionally prepping yourself again with what seemed like they were going to do originally. Like, oh god, Cesaro's going to turn heel on Knock, and they're going to really strap the rocket to Knock, and go full babyface with him. And then they don't. He's still babyface, but they cooled him down way quick. I mean, he lost a match to Apollo Crews, only 2 weeks ago or so? Yep. And now they've decided, okay, we're going to give the slow burn to Cesaro. He had a great performance in the Chamber, which, by the way, I still can't believe he did pull-ups in the fucking Chamber. And, now he's going to work Seth Rollins. Happy for Cesaro. Wish they both would have gotten rubs. That would have been nice. But yeah, it is difficult to emotionally prepare yourself when you think one thing, and then WWE's like, no, I didn't take my hand off the page. We're actually doing this thing. So, okay, whatever. Nakamura Rollins, I should say, should be a lot of fun. So, all right. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn backstage. I already kind of lamented this a little bit. It's Sami trying to convince Kevin to be a part of his documentary. Kevin's like, well, you're not letting me answer. I got to prepare for this Kevin Owens show thing. And he's like, no. You know that there's been a conspiracy against me from the beginning. Which actually is kind of true. If you're one for continuity, Sami Zayn, when he initially turned heel all the way back, before his injury and everything, did credit Kevin Owens for opening up his eyes about me being good guy Sami Zayn wasn't getting me anywhere. So there is a tinge of truth to that. And he really wants Kevin to be a part of the documentary. He thinks it'd be great for both of them. And Kevin just said, maybe. I'll think about it. And he's like, great, you'll think about it. But I got to get ready for the Kevin Owens show. Yeah, you got a show to do. Here, have this card. It's blank. So what do we think, man? Do we still think, because I think you've said that they could be a part of a hodgepodge for the Intercontinental title, like a big multi-man matchup. You still feel that way?
It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm really hoping we just get E versus Cruz now.
Yeah, it'd be so cool because both of these guys, Cruz and E, have done such good work that I'd buy it being a one-on-one match. You don't need anybody else. They've done phenomenal. And so, I really got to commend them for that. I don't know if that would mean then that KO and Sammy get a one-on-one match, which I really am meh about personally. But we'll see what happens. After this, we get Edge and Jey Uso backstage. What did you think of this, man? I want to give you the ball on this one. I thought this segment was very interesting.
I don't remember this segment.
And okay. I admittedly missed I think the first few seconds of this, but it's more Edge talking to Jey about how he, I guess kind of knows his family or trained with his family or whatever. So Edge and Jey, I guess, have a bond or whatever. And he said,
I must have been in the bathroom for this or something because I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, it seemed like he was kind of working Jey a little bit because he says, and in 2015, and I think that's the year he gave, if I remember correctly, he said, when I was still mourning losing this like a death, I saw a match with you and your brother, and that inspired me. That kind of lit a fire underneath me. That helped me. You were a part of that, and now you're a part of this. He said, you're, I don't think he said underling. He said some kind of derogatory term for servitude, like lapdog, I think it was. Lapdog to the big dog, right? And he's just kind of telling Jey, why aren't you your own man? Why are you taking orders from Roman? Kind of putting the screws to him in that way. And Jey puts a stop to it. I think he could see what Edge is trying to do. He said, don't act like you know me, Edge. Don't, act like you understand me. You need to be focusing on Roman. You need to be spending time with your own family. He was talking about my family. You need to be spending time with your own family and, savor that. Because when Roman gets his hands on you at WrestleMania, he's just more like it's done kind of thing. So he's just warning Edge against Roman, saying, you're not going to put this divide between us.
Oh, I caught that line. I thought that was weird because Jey said to Edge, you should be spending more time with your family now because when Roman gets his hand with you at WrestleMania. And I was just I had it in my head, what is he going to hurt him? He's going to just spend more time with his family then. It feels weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just meant more positive times with the family because, they don't want to have to deal with, daddy being fucking injured.
Either he's not making sense and he's basically saying spend time with your family now because you're going to spend a lot of time with him after WrestleMania while you're injured, or he's literally just threatening that Roman's going to murder him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, which, yikes.
Yeah, because that's the only other explanation other than just that he wasn't really making sense, is that he's literally just saying, spend time with your family now while you're alive.
Yeah. God damn. All right. Well, we go from that to the Kevin Owens show. I already kind of talked about the Kevin aspect of this. He cut a nice little promo just giving some exposition. Kudos to the characters, filling in the gaps where the writing isn't prepared. So good on you, Kevin, for just being a lot happened emotionally, mentally, physically. So, I'm back and I am just going to keep fighting. But for now, I'm the host of the show, so let's do it. And Sasha and Bianca are guests. This is a better Sasha promo on the whole. I still can't stand the fake laugh, and maybe that's the point.
Yeah, dude, this was really the first time that I was just like, oh, okay, so she's just actually just a full-blown heel right now. Like there's no gray about this character anymore. She is just a heel. She's an arrogant heel. That's all it is. Like, I feel like for the longest time, and maybe not for the longest time, but for at least the last few weeks, I've been like, I thought Sasha was a face. What's going on here? This is so weird. I thought that this was like a face versus face feud, and not really being able to figure out like what they were going for. And now, like tonight, it really just clicked. Like, no, Sasha is a fucking heel again.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got too, man. Like, it's very obvious to me that Sasha was working the crowd and kind of working the mic in a heelish manner.
Yeah.
I will say too, to Bianca's credit, is that her rationale for the whole thing, because Kevin Owens is like, you guys didn't get the job done at Elimination Chamber, and I'm thinking there's some underlying issues with you guys that you should talk about, blah, blah, blah. And, Bianca's like, well, we would have won if Sasha would have dealt with Reginald. Reginald's preoccupied with you. You didn't deal with it. Therefore, he cost us the match. That's on you. And Sasha, of course, deflecting, calls herself the Michael Jordan of the women's division. And, maybe one day, Bianca, you can be LeBron James. But I have to say, I actually found myself siding with babyface Bianca. It seemed like very sound rationale. Like, yeah, Reginald is legitimately a problem. Yes, they've telegraphed with the writing and everything. He's absolutely fixated with Sasha. So, yeah, I get where she's coming from. In fact, it's a nice follow-up from, I want to say, last week, because, she even said, after she beats Shayna, Reginald almost cost me my match. Handle this. And then Sasha, slapped Reginald and said, don't you ever get involved in my business again. So, maybe that wasn't handling it enough. I don't know. But I can understand, I should say, Bianca's frustrations.
Yeah.
Then, we have freaking, Nia and Shayna come out, because we had another team come out that I groaned. But they're just showing off Reginald and the new threads and saying that, you guys aren't going to take these tag titles at Fastlane. Then we had Natalya and Tamina come out because they're getting ready for a match.
I don't know what I'm angrier about. The fact that they're being featured at all, or the fact that the WWE decided to use the fucking Riot Squad as the sacrificial lamb to get this team over, of all things. Why in the blue hell did they get this, of all things, backwards?
Yeah, dude, I don't freaking know. It makes me wonder what the women's tag title match is going to be at Mania, because as it stands right now, and we're going to be doing preview and predictions next week, I can't see Bianca and Sasha winning, but what are they going to do? Have two matches on the same night? Like, maybe they win the titles, defend them against Tamina and Natalya, who beat them on a Smackdown, and then later in the night, because I would like to see the main event, night one, personally. They have their women's championship match.
I was literally saying the exact same thing. I want Sasha and Bianca to main event night one, and then Roman and Edge to main event night two. And then if there's a crazy ass Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton Funhouse match, that can be after if they want to do it, or if that can even semi-main. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with your vision for the card structure.
I am wondering though, do we know, and this is a little bit of a tangent, so I'm sorry if you don't want to get off topic, but do we know who Drew's WrestleMania opponent is?
At this moment, no, because he's going to try and recapture the WWE title, but I'm assuming he's going to be unsuccessful.
Fuck, that's right. It's Lashley. I forgot about God. I feel really stupid now. I was still, in my mind, for some reason, Drew was still the champion. So yeah, Lashley is the champion, but we don't have an opponent for him either. So I'm assuming that it's going to be something involving him and Drew, and maybe Strowman also.
Maybe, although, the way it's looking, Strowman might be facing Shane at WrestleMania, which is weird. Really weird.
Yeah, I really don't want to talk about that segment again. Can we just...
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to broach it. I'm just saying as a counter. So, yeah. They have this match. And, I can't even make it a nitpick that Bianca ate the pin here because, she had the match won twice. They really did go out of their way to protect Bianca here. She had the match won twice. Reginald was the distraction both times. She gets rolled up, I want to say, by Tamina for the pin. She goes outside, and she tells Sasha, Sasha, I don't lose. Like, this doesn't happen to me. I told you to fix this, whatever. And she's like, it's done. It's done. And she walks off. Obviously, it's not done because they have that tag title matchup, but I get what Bianca's saying here. Reginald and the tag team champions are kind of taunting Sasha as she looks on. Reginald blows her a kiss. It's weird. She's married. What the fuck? So...
Dude, I want to say both Sasha and Bianca are married. Because aren't Bianca and Montez married?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so they're both married.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you're not wrong, but I feel like it's less of an issue for her because, if anything, Reginald's been insulting her this whole time. Like, you're not going to beat Sasha.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
fair. That's fair.
Like, clearly the eyes are for Sasha.
Right.
And, like, God damn it, man. Vince, you're married. Now, granted, you don't respect your marriage.
Yeah, I was going to say, Vince cheated on his wife on national television every fucking week for like 3 or 4 years.
But, like, that doesn't mean everybody else wants to, and you're sick for making them do it.
But dude, that's Vince's... the way that Vince thinks, though, is it's like, well, I was willing to do this while I was married, so everyone else should be willing to make the same sacrifices that I made.
Unless you're not... Well, in this case, like, how are you going to tell a woman to be a real woman? You know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Vince,
going for that, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. Like, it's a lot. Fuck it. Bianca and Sasha are then backstage, and again, it's just a retread of like, I told you to handle him, and Sasha's like, well, I didn't say slap him. I didn't say this and that. I said handle him, which. I am on Bianca's side. Again, I feel like her rationale is in the right place, but to kind of play devil's advocate, well, then how would you have handled it? Because handle it, right, is a very broad thing. We've seen that kind of misunderstanding a lot in wrestling. Like, such and such. Maybe like William Regal when he was commissioner. I need you to handle this. Handle it. I'll lay them out in the ring then. No, I mean handle it like tell my daughter Stephanie, because that was one storyline. Vince having to choose between Stephanie and Trish, who was like, his flavor of the month. And it's like, I didn't tell you to have Stephanie beat Trish. I wanted you to help Trish beat Stephanie. It's like, well, you told me to handle it. You told me that I know what to do. So, like, when you make it that broad, you can't totally put it on Sasha for the course of action she chose. Maybe be more specific. Yeah, I don't know. So, these two have got to get their shit together. Things are happening. But after this, we get the Big E segment. Oh my God, I am not a spiritual person, but this promo took me to fucking church, people.
Dude.
God damn.
Big E's promo and then Apollo's appearance at the end of the match were really both like fucking transcendent. Both incredible.
Dude, like, I know we've had the conversations, which I'm proud of us for having, because I think all things considered would handle them pretty well, about Apollo's gimmick and the ramifications of that and everything. But we've given credit to the performer, like, hey, bro, if this is your spot, you are maximizing the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And, like, these guys are killing it. These guys are doing some of the best work on SmackDown every freaking week.
Yep.
And it's the mid-card and it's the Intercontinental title. And, like, I got to give them credit for that, too, because, I used to be of the belief, and I think I've definitely moved away from that as I've gotten older, like, if you want the Intercontinental title to be believable, to be main event worthy, you gotta like have workhorse matches, like in a workhorse kind of champion. Which I'm not saying Big E isn't, but I think about those indie guys and the work rate and all that bullshit. These guys aren't even necessarily doing that. They're telling a really compelling story, and honestly, like this feels like a second tier title right before you get to the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
And I really got to credit him for that. Hell, I got to give, because I'll be honest, I keep up with Talking Smack now because it's free on the WWE Network. Yep. So I don't have to pay for anything. This past episode was pretty weak. Apollo Crews came on. He wasn't bad. He said, I'll make Big E understand me. I'll make him understand, because he says he's coming back next week. And, obviously that's tonight here that we're talking about. But then Paul Heyman looked at the camera, and Paul's been great about putting certain acts over. And he said, mark my words, Apollo Crews is a main event talent. And he really went out of his way to talk Apollo up. He even, on Apollo, dude, used the line, and that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. He used that saying that Crews is going to be a main event talent.
Jesus.
Now, I think that's really putting a guy over, right?
Yeah.
And you see Apollo come out here, not to jump the gun. We will get back to Minister E in a second, okay? But Apollo, what he did tonight was fucking great. And I love that we legitimately had a stairs match between Big Show and fucking Rowan years ago. And this is actually making a more rational case for a stairs match.
Yeah.
How Apollo took out Big E and how he said his ancestors would say, somebody disrespects you, make them taste steel.
Steel steps might just be WWE's flavor of the week, though, dude. Because remember on Raw, Drew and Sheamus had like a steel stairs fucking jousting match.
That is true, but I like that these guys are so committed to this not being laughed at. Indeed, quite the opposite, to this being one of the best things going on in the company. That it's like, no, if we're going to use steel steps rather than steel chairs and like other more conventional weapons say, we're going to make it make sense. And they did.
That's another thing. I fucking loved Big E's entrance where he comes out with like a crutch and a boot and a sling and a neck brace and a bunch of fucking tape all over the place. And he just sheds all of it on his way to the ring and he starts hyping people out. It was so goddamn cool. I loved that.
Dude, that was great. Like, Big E's so good, man. This is so much better than your stereotypical big guy puffing his chest out acting like a badass. Because here's the thing. I smiled with E when he did that because he likes to have a good time. But man, like, you know, when the PG era was first happening, you'd hear legends like Edge and stuff like that talk about, you know, it was kind of weird transitioning because we were using blood and we were doing this. And, you know, Austin has said with his character, I can't imagine cutting a promo in the PG era successful today. There was not one swear word in this, not one that I counted, unless, you know, I'm misremembering, which is entirely possible. I did not count one. And the passion, the emotion, and the intimidation that reverberated off this goddamn man. Jesus Christ, I never want to fuck with this dude. I never even want to tell this dude the incorrect time. I'm triple checking my watch when he asks me what time it is. And again, like, I don't remember every line he said. You have crossed the Rubicon. You have opened Pandora's box. There is no putting the genie back in the bottle. My favorite line, you step on my lawn. I bulldoze your house. I mean, dude, let me ask you, not to put you on the spot. You know that we're doing like a lot of work and a lot of game planning already. Is this a contender for promo of the year for you?
Yes.
Because it is for me.
Yes.
It 100% is for me.
Here's the thing. This is, but last week's Apollo promo was also, I think, a promo of the year candidate.
Yeah, they have both been really good, really good. And then I love this too. Like, I had my nitpick about it, which I definitely saw your vantage point where you're like, well, if they did go the way that like you wish they would have, I probably would have had a problem. This dude, who again took off the neck brace, stuff like that, got his ass beat, is like, well, I've got all this rage inside of me. We're not going to do the usual. I'm just going to wait for you or maybe pursue you in the back. He does call out Apollo. Apollo doesn't answer. He's like, oh, I expected that. So here's what we're going to do. I came here revved up, you know, freaking ready. I'm feeling myself. I'm amped up to defend my Intercontinental title. So that's what we're going to do. This dude does a freaking open challenge. And again, I don't know if they're making little teases here for like a big schmoz at WrestleMania. And Corbin comes out, and it looks like, you know, I'm willing to tear up this $10,000. That's Corbin's new thing, is just listing off the prices of what he's wearing to get a shot there. But before he does, Sammy comes out. He's like, I accept.
I love that. I love that. That's such a common thing. And of course, it's fucking Corbin, who is like the stereotypical comic book villain who comes out trying to monologue. And Sammy's just like, I accept. That was awesome. That was so good.
Yeah. So Sammy, and then Biggie's like, fools. Loved it. It ain't just big dick energy. It's big E energy.
Oh, we go from big D to big E. We went up a letter in the alphabet.
Hell yeah. Biggie's up in his fucking game. He's like, whoever gets in there. Now, originally, dude, when he said fools, I'm not going to lie, I thought he was going to be so amped up. He's like, I will take you both on right now. And I thought we were going to do like a triple threat.
That would have been sick. Or even like a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Dude. Holy shit. I don't know why he spends a lot, Foster, but it definitely is a problem. Kudos to you for calling it out.
That was hilarious, though. Corbin's like, I've got no problem putting this $10,000 $1,000 through the paces, and Sammy comes out. I accept. That's amazing.
Clothing being that expensive will never. It'll never make sense to me.
It'll never be. It'll never be anything but gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about a capitalist stream. $10,000.
I know, right?
Dude. Speaking of what the fuck fashion, did you see what Seth Rollins was wearing tonight?
Dude,
this dude was wearing green plaid head to toe and dress shoes with no socks. What the hell?
Yeah, it's
plaid blazer on. What?
Yeah.
Sethington, what?
I really don't know what the man is doing. I think he needs help.
I really hope they dress their daughter better than that. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm really counting on you, Bex. I don't even know anymore. I'm really counting on you, Bex. I don't know. Like,
Seth really does have that God, we can't take you anywhere energy, doesn't he?
You can't. I mean, since we're here, since you park the car here, you can't dress like that and then have the audacity to ask me to embrace the vision. No.
Seth, have you seen the vision of yourself in a mirror?
Yeah. Clearly not.
I guess he dressed himself today because I don't think Becky would have let him walk out of the house if she saw him like that.
And so it's just like, I wear what I want to wear. I wear what I want to wear. I'm wearing this. I look good. And it's like, yeah.
Seth's just like, Becky won't let me have the wardrobe I want. I'm going to just wear it straight out of the store after I buy it.
God, that does feel like Caillou energy, and we had Corbin in this segment.
God.
so Biggie's like, yeah, whoever gets in the ring first gets it. And again,
yes, Foster's so right, dude. Seth's giving off some serious Gargano energy right now. And he's so right. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're both just so them. Perfect, Foster. Perfect. And again, they kind of subvert my expectations here because Sami Zayn gets in the ring first, but he's jaw-jacking with Corbin, and Big E's behind him. Again, I thought he was going to hit the big ending, like, right away, and, like, that was going to be it. But they do have a legitimate match, and to their credit, despite me, like, wanting Big E to just bulldoze Sami, it was a good match. Sami even gets, like, a sunset flip powerbomb on the top rope for a really nice near fall. You know, Sami looks convincing in there. But Big E, man, I will say, if they didn't have him demolish Sami, like in the sense of like, a 30-second IC title matchup, he turned the heat up when he was like, it's over. That lariat on Sami bumped his ass off, and that big ending, man, gets the job done. So Big E retains. Good back and forth matchup. Then Apollo's music hits. Big E smiling. He's like, oh, great. Successfully defended my IC title against Sami. Maybe I finally shut him up completely. This was weird,
actually. Now that I think about it, this was weird.
Okay,
just the way that Big E was like, "Oh, okay, I see how it is. I'm gonna be ready for you. You're not gonna come up the ramp. You're gonna come from this particular corner." And Apollo just comes from the opposite corner.
Yeah, I feel like Big E was trying to show he's smarter than the Intercontinental Champion, which I believe he is. Again, I'm not remotely prepared to shit talk this dude. But. You looked in the wrong corner, bruh. He still got you.
I really thought like the whole gimmick was just that he's a smart baby face and he was going to be ready for Apollo no matter where he came from, but he was really super focused on that one corner in particular.
He's like, I know he's going to come from there.
Yeah.
I know it. And yeah, just very interesting. Very interesting that Apollo was like, nope, psych. He lays him out. Gets the steel steps after he Olympic slams him, by the way.
Twice! He Olympic slammed him twice!
Yeah, he did. He really showed off that power. Then he gets the steel steps. He's like, get up! And he hits him with it. And then he hits him with it again. I think he does hit him with the steel steps twice. And it seems like Big E has got like a shoulder injury or just injury to like his arm or bicep or just somewhere in that region. And he's kind of like smacking the floor like, damn it, I came back. I was amped up. Now I could be even in worse shape.
Dude, that was another thing. I know you don't listen with commentary, so you missed this, but Graves was saying during the Sami Zayn match Big E is not 100%. This is all adrenaline right now. He literally said that he was speaking to some of the doctors in the back, and that even though Big E is technically cleared for action, he is not 100%.
Yeah, I actually do remember Graves saying that. I'm glad you brought it up because I wouldn't have thought to. And that is a great point. So they even had us prepared for like, hey, he's not 100%. You got to, what's going to happen here? And now he's definitely less than 100% after that beating.
Yeah.
So, and then, dude, the visual of Apollo standing atop the steel steps at the end in the center of the ring.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Talk about king shit. Holy fuck.
Dude, yeah. Like, that one weird little thing aside, which I know you and I can both, like, let it slide because it's fucking wrestling and, some things just, not going to be explained. These guys are killing it. They are really... Foster said something earlier that whoever is in charge of the Apollo story deserves a raise and some ice cream. You're goddamn right. Like, I feel like SmackDown, they've been fortunate the last 2 years to get writers. Unfortunately, one no longer working for the company because that was the one that did the Otis, Mandy, Dolph storyline. And now whoever's writing this for Big E Apollo, that they get a writer seemingly once a year that really gets to flex and make a mid-card story worthwhile. So whoever is writing this, thank you. And especially, too, because we already kind of talked about this before, so I have no qualms talking about it in a more positive way. When it is two black superstars and a championship, like, it just feels so good for there not to be any, cliches or stereotypes. Again, it is still problematic that Apollo returning to his roots is considered a heel thing when Drew did that and he got like a babyface reception. Yeah. But that aside, and that is a big thing to put aside, admittedly, it is nice to see this kind of representation that has these like fully realized characters beyond mere identity. And an Intercontinental Championship, they are both raising the stock of. Like, you said something earlier that you're hoping that it's Big E and Apollo. I'm with you because they've earned it. I love KO. He has no business in this. He has had no part in elevating the IC title like these guys have. Sammy just got his one-on-one match against Big E. I don't really buy him in that title picture anymore. Go to the back of the line, do some non-title stuff. These guys have earned the right to have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania for that Intercontinental title. And I'll be honest, if that was on the card, that would be one of my more hyped-up matches on the card.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, I was even going to say, my interest in this year's WrestleMania is not very high, but that one-on-one match would definitely increase it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, amazing work from both of these guys. I am so proud of them both. And yeah, I can't wait to see more. This is actually one storyline where I'm like, yeah, you've got me next week. And they've had me next week the last few weeks. Yeah. So love it. Love it. This is Fave 5 material from both guys. I don't know if they'll both make it, but I really think one
honestly,
might.
I loved Big E's promo, but I am higher on Apollo right now than I am him.
Interesting. I love it, dude. We should talk more about that after the show. But I could keep singing the praise of these two for the rest of the podcast, but we do have two other segments. One, I just want to get to very quickly. Nia and Reginald backstage. You already kind of mentioned this in Heat of the Night. This is kind of the dovetailing into the Women's Championship match because Reginald suggested, maybe you should take Sasha's Women's Championship and then you could go into WrestleMania as, with both championships. Oh, great idea, Reginald. Kayla 3's a crap, blah, blah, blah. End of the segment.
God, she's fucking awful. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't know what we'll do about that. Probably nothing. WWE will probably give her a raise for all we know. But then we get Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, the contract signing. Brother, what'd you think of this segment?
Dude, I loved this. Another really strong promo here from Daniel Bryan, honestly. Like, I don't know if I would necessarily say promo of the year material, but it's a standout promo for sure. So basically, Roman does his shtick where he makes Adam Pearce place the chair that's meant for Roman at the end of the table because he is the head of the table. And then he's just like, you don't want to do this. He's talking to Bryan, you don't want to do this. I know last week I might have agreed to this, but I've been thinking and I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to sign this piece of paper. And Bryan signs it, and his shit talk just gets turned up to level 13 out of 10.
Dude, his trolldom was...
Oh my god, dude, I was dying laughing at the intensity of his trolling here. It was hilarious. It was like, oh wow, that's funny, Roman, because I kind of feel like there have been a lot of people talking, and a lot of people think that I'm better than you. And, you know, for a while there, I didn't think that I was better than you, but maybe now I do. And I think that you probably think that you're better than me because you're a confident guy, but maybe that confidence is starting to wane a little bit. And, like, he was going on, and he was like, I did the one thing that you could never do, and that's make Jey Uso quit. Like, holy shit. Dude, I love that Roman's inability to put Jey Uso away without cheating is being brought back in the storyline.
The writing on SmackDown, like, it obviously still has its issues in some areas.
Dude, it's hit and miss, but the hits are incredible.
Yes. I was getting ready to make a similar point. And the mid-card and in the main event specifically, it seems like the mid-card and the main event to me are the strongest points. Women and the tag division, you know, it could be misses sometimes. But I'll tell you, man, main event scene. And again, and like, I love how in a way that protects Jey Uso, because even Jey Uso, let's remember the cage match, he did get to the ropes. It's just a match that doesn't have rope breaks. So of course he was having to tap out.
That's the thing. Like, Jey Uso has been so fucking well protected. It's insane. He never tapped out to Roman. He quit 2 matches against Roman. Not really, though. Like, the one his brother threw in the towel, and the other one he quit to save his brother. Both of the matches that he lost to Roman, he didn't actually really lose to Roman. It was by technicality, and Bryan's bringing that shit back. And even now, like you said, it was a cage match, and if it wasn't, it would have been a rope break. Holy shit!
In 2021, they're protecting Jey fucking Uso. And you know what? I love it. I love it. It's like, God, this put me in such a good mood, and I needed this shit, man. This was fantastic. I thank you, SmackDown, because like, if WWE is gonna monopolize everything, if they're gonna suck up every bit of talent, you need to give us at least one thing that we can fucking enjoy to endure it all. And Roman Reigns' title reign has been top fucking tier. Daniel Bryan on top of his game. To the point where I've seen him like work people. People are like legitimately annoyed by his comments that like, oh, Roman and Edge don't deserve to main event WrestleMania. As if he's not speaking completely in character. As if he's not going to put Roman Reigns over more than likely at Fastlane. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I am living for the... Dude, I even told you. Now, guys, you guys who have been watching TWitWoW for a long time, you know that the one egregious thing I do, and believe me, I'm well aware that the list is long, but one egregious thing that I do is that I consistently leave Bryan off Fave 5 lists. I'm vibing with this fucking Daniel Bryan. Finally, this dude is slapping people and just being like, I'm the best fucking wrestler in the world. Like, he even told Paul Heyman, I'm taking back the title I had before CM Punk, and that's the best damn wrestler in the world. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want Father Daniel Bryan. I don't want, oh man, you know, save the trees Daniel Bryan, even though that was brilliant. That was fucking god tier promo shit. I love this Bryan that looks around the locker room and is like, you know, you guys are good. You may even be really good.
But I'm me.
I'm that much better though. Like, yes, because Roman can't stand it. And again, to give credit to the Roman character, with Kevin Owens, we see when Kevin Owens calls him out, you know, he maybe darts his eyes downward. He can't face it. He is genuinely afraid of Kevin Owens. With Jey Uso, like you said, he can't make him quit, and he's obsessed with it because if you're not falling in line, then I can't really be seen by everyone as head of the table. And my status is as much appearance as it is reality. So we all need to corroborate it, right? Otherwise it falls apart. Yep. And now with Bryan, so what I'm getting at is Roman Reigns at the core. Can I say this and would it actually make sense? I'm going to go for it. Fuck it. I think he's a Triple H character done better.
Yes!
I really do.
Yes!
I really do.
He is so insecure that he wears this mask of arrogance to try and cover up for it. I've been saying this since the Owens feud. He doesn't want a real challenge. That's why he chose his little cousin to be his first challenger, because he thought it would be a cakewalk, and he couldn't even beat him.
Yeah. Like, And that's why Brian trolling him, like you can even see Roman, like his face. And again, all credit to Roman. All credit to Roman. The body language has been on fucking point because you can see his face contorting, nostrils flaring. He's like, shut up. Shut up. And shut up. It's just like, fine. Like, he got worked by fucking Brian. Like, you come out. Now let's paint the picture here since we're having a very lively discussion about this. You come out. You have Paul fucking Heyman by your side. A guy that's done more con jobs, if it's to be believed, more negotiations, more this and that. And you flew off the handle and you let Brian get to you with Paul Heyman at your side. You don't even take 2 seconds to discuss with him like,
how does it feel to know that you're even more of a loose cannon than Brock fucking Lesnar?
Yeah, dude. Facts. Holy shit, because, like, and we've seen, and why I say this, too, is that there is precedent. Remember, before Elimination Chamber, when Pierce said, I don't think Kevin Owens has to earn his spot, Roman fucking darted out of that ring, got in Pierce's face. Like, this is a dude that is both insecure and maybe just a little bit, just a little tiny bit, unstable. And Paul Heyman has to come in and be like, pick your time. This isn't the time.
Yep.
Just a suggestion. This isn't the time.
And again, how many times have we seen Brock look like he was about to fly off the handle and Heyman's able to get him under control? Like, no, not now. Don't play into his game. And now Roman Reigns is getting played into accepting title shots by Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I love it. I love the fucking mind games.
Dude, I'm going to come out and say it. This is the only storyline in wrestling right now that can compete with Tam Julia.
I agree.
Like, if we're talking about year-end awards, if we're talking about our storyline of the year, Roman Reigns' heel run as the Universal Champion is the only thing in the same universe as Tam Julia's feud in Stardom.
Yeah, and given that for now I'm tentatively calling that feud concluded, we have to see how this heel run for Roman. And again, I would say heel run even goes beyond just the title reign specifically, and just until he turns face again.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'll have to see how the heel run is resolved.
Dude, I swear to God, if he puts over Jey Uso to close out this title reign, it's my fucking storyline of the year easily.
Yeah, dude, it might happen. It might fucking happen because like Jay is such a wild card because you saw Edge try and convince him of something tonight, like, oh, why are you the lapdog, this and that. Brian throwing Roman's inability to beat Jay in his face. I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, they're protecting Jey Uso. But see, this is why I said, though, and I kind of have mixed feelings. Like, I love this. I love everything about this. But poor Jimmy, man, because, like, how do you go back into a tag team after this? Like, Jay has had so much work, so much investment made in him.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so we're going to do that Uso penitentiary thing again, right? Well, and then he's just like, well, I was going to do it as a solo gimmick. You want to accompany me to ringside? I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we're seeing a death of a tag team. And I've always said, I shouldn't say always. I used to say this a long time ago in early TWitWoW. I feel like I've kind of like dropped off of saying this lately. But usually the point of tag teams is to find a single star and to get a single star out of it. I never thought that would apply to the fucking Usos. Like, I thought they were the Young Bucks of WWE. Like, always a tag team, really can't be anything
dude, there was
else.
a while that they were trying to convince us that they were the Young Bucks of WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
With the fucking super kick parties that they were throwing sometimes. Jeez.
And then I get closer and closer because, look, again, guys, I'll walk you through my thought process. I'm very honest about that. I'm like, I really don't want to see, Jay as Universal Champion. To like, if Kevin's not going to win it now, I'm open to it. Fuck. I mean, if we can have Jinder Mahal as fucking WWE Champion and they committed to that title reign, why not a really well-written character?
Well, and not only, but like, let's give credit where it's due because this is something we could never really say about Jinder Mahal. A genuinely good worker.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, the way he's been working in these main event Jey Uso, right? It's believable. It's compelling. Like, when he's aggressive, he's aggressive. And like, I love that, too, because, Roman wanted to break him and manipulate him so he'd have somebody on his side. And the way Jey Uso competes and the way he conducts himself as a character makes perfect sense why Roman would want to have him on his side. Because even if he takes a beating, he always comes through. That's just been his thing. So yeah, to go from that to a guy that finally beats Roman Reigns, and I will say, if it was for the Universal title, my God, what a fucking story. But even if it wasn't, say Roman loses the Universal title and he really ups the abuse to Jay, and Jay is like, fuck this, I'm done, and then he finally beats Roman, even then, I still say, what a fantastic fucking story. That they let Jay fucking Uso go over probably clean on Roman Reigns.
Yep.
I love it. I love it,
Well,
man.
he's sure as hell not going to beat him by cheating.
No, certainly not. I'm just saying, like, not necessarily cheating, but it was like a fluky thing or whatever. Like, I wanted to be like, no, he beat Roman Reigns, kind of thing. But you know, kind of celebrating what this is, because this is really good. We, you know, Brian is again just shit talking Roman. Roman caves. Jay cuts in, says, you know, what are you doing all this talking for? Who's, you know what this match needs, Pierce? It needs a special enforcer, and it's going to be me. And,
I love, though, that he didn't just say it needs a special enforcer. He went out of his way to be like, it needs a special enforcer to make sure that it gets called clean and fair down the middle the way it should be. Like, and I love that he's just immediately just like, it needs me. And I'm just like, oh, Jay, you're trying to be Roman with your hypocrisy. It's adorable.
I know, right? But then Edge cuts in, and I gotta say, like, you know that I've been kind of, you know, about Edge getting this match at Mania, but Edge is a schemer, man.
I love this. Yes. Yeah. I love it, dude. I love, too. Like, he comes in, and he's just like, oh, hey, Jey Uso, why don't you and I have a match? It'll be my first match on SmackDown, and I think he said 14 years. And then he was just like, we'll have a match on SmackDown, and the winner of that match gets to be the special guest enforcer. And what do you say to that, Pierce? He went straight to Pierce, and Pierce was like, that sounds good to me. That's what we're going to do next week. And Edge gets in the ring, he chucks the mic at Roman and goes after him, and they start brawling while Brian and Jay go at it.
Yeah, dude. Great freaking end to SmackDown. And worth noting, Edge ate a knee plus from Brian here. So I like that, because that's kind of a receipt for saying that, you know, you're not better than me, Brian, you know, Edge at the beginning of the night. And then Brian ends it with a knee plus. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Raw lately has just been absolute garbage, other than Bobby Lashley being the WWE champion, which I even forgot was a thing tonight because of how bad the show is generally. SmackDown is absolutely on fire right now, specifically in the main event scene. Because, like, John, you mentioned the mid-card earlier, and, like, yes, like, the Rollins-Cesaro stuff and potentially Rollins-Nakamura, and more importantly, the Big E Apollo stuff is great, and Sami Zayn contributes to the mid-card being great. But this main event scene is absolutely, legitimately the best booked anything WWE has had since, like, late 2016 SmackDown with Ambrose, Cena, and Styles.
Yeah, I agree. That's actually a great comparison.
I would even say better booked than that, because that was more just about like, oh, hey, guys, look, star power, and they're all really good, and they're all good at cutting promos and having matches. But this is just actual good writing. This is just actual good storytelling that, like, it could be anyone. Like, Jey Uso could be, I mean, I guess he couldn't really, because then he wouldn't be Roman's family. But, like, the idea is, like, the style of writing that they're doing is so good that it could work on just about any talent, because you just need to have a good enough worker, and all of a sudden, like, this writing, it's like the Kofi Mania thing. Like, the writing is so good that it's going to get the people over involved no matter what, because it's just that good.
And this is again where I say, because I know it's been a debate among some fans, I would love to see how an actual live crowd would be reacting to this. Because I have
low
a feeling
key. So the whole weird thing that WWE's been doing lately, with not being able to decide who's heel, who's face, and whether certain people are heel or face and stuff, I think that they're waffling on that and getting away with it because of the lack of crowds. I think that if we had crowds that were giving a solid reaction either way, we would have more concrete evidence as to what alignment people are.
Yeah, exactly. I
and
actually
WWE
agree
wouldn't
with
be
that.
able to keep fucking around like they are with Sasha.
Yeah. But, like, I'd love to see if this crowd would be eating out of Brian's hands. Like, I think they would be.
I mean, even the virtual crowd, like, I don't know how much the WWE manipulates what we see on the screens. That seems like a lot of micromanaging for someone as lazy as Vince McMahon. there are a lot of people on the screens doing the yes movement with their hands, even if we aren't hearing the exact audio that they're putting out through their audio, their cameras or whatever. Like, we're seeing a lot of people on Thunderdome screens doing the yes chants. And it's like, how do you, I guess they could fake that. They could, but it seems like a lot of work for not a lot of reward to be doing that when you could just have genuine reactions, still show shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. I love this episode. This was great. I agree with your sentiments wholeheartedly about the main event scene. It's just on a completely different level.
Yeah.
And again, you know, like, I like Bobby Lashley. I love the Hurt Business. I respect Drew McIntyre. Hell, even Sheamus has been doing good work lately, you know, the past couple months between the Big E feud and now, like, all this that he's doing with Drew. But it's not compelling enough because for me, and again, this is the difference between, you know, maybe when we started TWitWoW and I was a bit younger, you know, and kind of having opinions to where I am now. These are genuinely complex and substantive characters. And I love watching them interact. Again, Edge finding that opening, right? And being like, oh, that's a great idea, Jay, but how about you and I fight for it? Perfect. Bryan antagonizing Roman, and Roman, because of his insecurity, to constantly feel the need to prove himself because he feels like he's let his family down or whatever the hell's going on with him. Perfect. Jey Uso being so terrified of Roman, and yet, like, everybody else can see, like, no, actually, Jay, you have the power inside of you to beat Roman Reigns. Like, they're not going to say it like that, at least not yet, but they're really implying it with the way they throw it in Roman's face. Like, yeah. I love everything. Yeah. Everything is fantastic. With that said, let's get into high spots and low shots. You know what? My low shot, I'm going to make it simple, are Sasha and Bianca. They lost tonight, and they're very quickly breaking down. That wouldn't matter so much given that they're in a singles match at Mania, but for Fastlane, they are challenging for the tag titles, so it's a bit of a speed bump. We'll see if they can overcome it. So Sasha and Bianca are my low shot tonight. Who's your low shot?
My low shot's going to be King Corbin because his monologue prevented him from getting an IC title shot. And then, to double down, his slowness also cost him an opportunity at the IC title because then Big E was just like, whoever gets in the ring first gets the shot. And Sammy was just faster than Corbin.
Yeah, exactly. Great pick there, man.
I honestly, I would rather be Sami Zayn and have gotten the opportunity and lost than be Corbin and just not gotten the opportunity at all.
Yeah. All right. My high spot. God, so many to choose from. You know what? I'm going to say my high spot actually is Edge. Because you know what? He ate any plus tonight. You're leaving
the door open to so many people that I'm going to end up having to give honorable mentions to.
That's fine, but hey, it was a stag night. There were so many people I could have given credit to. But you know what? Edge, even though he ate an E+ tonight, without lifting a finger and pulling a few strings, he could be in a position where he can manipulate events at Fastlane as special enforcer. So, ultimate opportunist lives. And honestly, this is the most I've been into Edge in some time. Because I'm like, I see what you're doing, and honestly, I like it. So, what do you got, partner?
Well, honorable mentions then, I guess, are going to have to go to... let me because I have three dudes in my mind, and I'm trying to decide who I want to make the actual high spot and who I want the honorable mentions to go to. Let's see. Actually, now there's four. I know for a fact that one honorable mention is going to be Shinsuke Nakamura because just that face-off with Seth could mean good things for him. It got both of us excited. It's a potential second revival for Nakamura's WWE career. I think I should do it the other way around. My other two high spots are just going to be Big E and Cruz, and then my actual high spot is going to be Daniel Bryan for his shit-talking game that he had on point all night tonight. He opened the show, he closed the show, he killed it both times. He was amazing all night. Massive props to my boy, D-Bry.
Absolutely, man. Great shit. What a wonderful SmackDown this was. I think I actually, after talking out certain stuff with you, I might even be higher on this SmackDown than when I first came into it. Like, this is some of the best stuff WWE's putting out.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, guys. So that was SmackDown. This was TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for SmackDown reviews on YouTube. When you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong, so please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon down below to get notifications for all of our TWitWoW content so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Be sure to check out everything we're involved in the description box, including our Twitter handles. I'm at John_TwitWoW. He's at Ashton_TwitWoW. My pinned tweet is to receive Q&A questions. Q&A is March 25th. Non-Patreon donors get 3 Q&A questions. Patreon donors get 2 additional questions for a total of 5 Q&A questions. You can submit your Q&A questions YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Discord. Discord costs $3 a month, so if you just give the $3, you get Discord access and you get your 2 additional Q&A questions. I think it's quite a steal. Discord server's great. We're doing Among Us Mondays. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait for this Among Us Monday, actually, because the last few games we've had some connectivity issues with some of our participants. But Mondays always seem to be more chill, easygoing. So be sure to join us for those. And, yeah, like I said, Q&A will be March 25th. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule. He does have it up for the month of March. So here is what we're looking at, guys. Nothing for the next few days from Saturday the 13th to Tuesday the 16th. The next thing we have is Wednesday, March 17th. We have got a Stardom live reaction for their 313 show at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be our NXT review. Then Thursday the 18th, we've got a John Cena matchathon, 5 matches requested from DBK. That'll be, again, the 18th at 5 p.m. That's a Thursday. Friday the 19th, 5 p.m., Stardom, March 14th show live reactions. 10 p.m., it'll be a Smackdown review. Then Saturday the 20th, 9 p.m., it'll be Fastlane 2021 preview and predictions. And then Sunday, March 21st, 7 p.m., it'll be Fastlane live reactions. Just wanted to cover all of that because, we've got off a few days, but then we're picking it right back up. Should be a lot of great content coming your way. So again, guys, we won't see you again until Wednesday at 5 p.m. for Stardom March 13th show live reactions. So have a great weekend. Have a great Monday and Tuesday. Those of you that are part of our Discord, and join us from Among Us Mondays. That's from 8 to 11 because we do it during Raw. Until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Tune in and peace out.